The New Orleans Saints currently 7-3, but without Drew Brees. He was placed on injured reserve today. More on that later. Here's Sean Payton from earlier today talking about who his quarterback will be and if he has named a starter.
Sean, is there anything important from a team standpoint, just letting them know who the starter is and announcing it this Friday? Does that play a role in it?
Absolutely. And, I think everyone's on the same page.
How excited are you just as a play caller to have him be able to have this opportunity and show what he can? Because it's been a couple of years coming, right?
Who are we talking about? Because we haven't.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I'm sorry too, because I haven't announced that either one of those two are starting.
So that was just leaked by someone else, I guess, today?
I didn't see today or what you're talking about.
Oh, it was just a headline on ESPN that Taysom was going to start.
Yeah, I didn't see that. And again, we've had a good week of preparation, and we're looking forward to the game.
Just to clarify, so no one has been named the starter?
Yeah, listen, someone has been named the starter, but we haven't announced it.
In other words, get out of here with that. These are not the droids you're looking for bull crap. Sean Payton isn't falling for any of it. No Jedi mind tricks, no bananas in the tailpipe. It's not going to work. You're not going to get him to say who the starter is, even though, and it was kind of funny how it happened this morning. First, Ian Rappaport of NFL Media tried to kind of, in a hedgy sort of way, just 2 days after he indicated Jameis Winston, would get the bulk of the snaps, he flipped it over to suggest that Taysom Hill would be the starter, but didn't quite say it unequivocally. That was chased by Adam Schefter saying it unequivocally, unconditionally. Taysom is the starter, and Jameis Winston had no starter reps in practice this week, Charean. So the bulk of the reporting points to Taysom Hill. I don't know who's blabbing because it seems like Sean Payton's done a pretty good job of getting everyone to keep their mouths shut. I will not rule out the possibility of Sean Payton being the one behind some of these leaks, or the possibility of Sean Payton maybe creating some deliberate misinformation for his own strategic purposes.
He learned well from Bill Parcells, Mike, and he knows how to play this game. And it's sort of the same thing they did last year when Drew Brees was going to miss games and ended up missing 5 games. And we didn't know initially who was going to start, although we thought it was Teddy Bridgewater. And yeah, I completely agree with you. This very much could be Sean Payton pulling some strings here. I'm not going to be surprised if Taysom Hill starts. I'm not going to be surprised if Jameis Winston starts. And I'm not going to be surprised if Jameis Winston ends up playing more snaps than Taysom Hill does at quarterback. I do think Taysom will play a lot in this game. I think they have to take the bubble wrap at this point. However you play him, you have to play him, and you have to play him a lot. But this, to me, still has a ton of intrigue for this game, how it's exactly going to play out. And I'm not so certain that how it plays out this game is going to duplicate itself next week. Sean Payton's brilliant. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, offensive minds in the NFL right now. And he has a plan for this. And I guarantee you the Saints are going to be competitive in the 3 games or more that Drew Brees misses.
I want to peel back the curtain just a little bit so people understand how the sausage gets made. People do talk. Sometimes people do deliberately spread misinformation. And what's the downside? What happens if Sean Payton gave false information to somebody? What happens if he ends up using Jameis Winston extensively? What's he going to say if the reporter gets mad at him? What's he going to say? Well, I changed my mind. Sorry, you should have checked back with me. I mean, there's no real consequence here if you want to play that card once in a while, if the goal is to keep the Falcons flat-footed and unprepared, and I think that's what Payton wants to do. I can't go too far into the why I know this, but given the way everything happened today and given the way that I was able to get someone's attention and talk this through before the dust really settled on it, I believe it is going to be both. I really do. And I'm not reporting it definitely will be, because I think this is an area where I don't think anybody who says absolutely what's going to happen is covered. I think a lot of different things could happen, but right now I do believe we're going to see both guys. And I think who we see more of is going to be dictated the same way it would be if you had two running backs and one gets the hot hand or one fumbles, right? You're going to see more of the other guy. So I think they've got both ready. I don't care that Taysom got all the reps with the starters and Jameis Winston got all the reps with the backups or whatever reps he would have gotten. Unless he's the scout team quarterback, he's in play. And no one has reported he was the scout team quarterback this week. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. And it's just kind of fun at this point to see how it unfolds and who the starter is and who gets more of the reps and whether anybody is going to care to go back to Friday and pull out the scorecard and see who was right and who was wrong.
And here's something else, Mike. Sean Payton said, well, I haven't heard that. I don't read that. Okay, we know Sean Payton reads and sees everything. There may be a handful of guys in the NFL that actually don't do that. Sean Payton is not one of those guys. He reads and sees absolutely everything, and he knows. And he, like you said, he may have fed the information, but however it came out, he's seen it. He knows what's out there. He knows what the other teams are preparing for, who face the Saints in the next 3 weeks. He's ready for that. So I'm with you. I think we see both quarterbacks. Now, I don't think it's going to be a Tom Landry thing from back in the 1970s when he decided to alternate Craig Morton and Roger Staubach by the snap and then quickly figured out that that wasn't going to work. But I agree with you. The hot hand is going to win the day. Whoever has that hot hand is going to get more reps.
You know, it's funny. I had a post yesterday about a film called Braddock that's going to begin production next year. Russell Wilson is the executive producer. It's about Braddock High School in the late 50s. Chuck Klausing was the head coach there. When I was at Carnegie Mellon and he was the coach of the football team, I did not play on it, by the way. I don't want to create the false impression in that regard. It would have been easy to create just that vague impression, but I did not play. I did not attend the games. But they had two separate offenses. And as long as one scored, it stayed on the field. Punt or a turnover, the other entire offense went on. What if it's just something like that with the quarterbacks? Hey, as long as you do well, you're staying out there. We're gonna. I doubt that Sean Payton would do that, but he could do anything. He's Sean Payton, and whatever he does, we're ultimately going to say, well, he's a genius, so whatever he does must be right. I mean, it was funny today to see some of the tweets, kind of like the finger-wagging tweets from reporters covering the team. Well, we should have known this because they paid him $16 million guaranteed. But why the hell weren't you saying it all week then? Why weren't you planting a flag saying it should be Taysom Hill because they paid him all that money? Not once the report comes out, well, you know, they're paying Taysom. Yeah, it makes sense now. They're paying Taysom Hill all that money. Come on. Now, we were saying earlier this week the depth chart points to Taysom Hill. The money points to Taysom Hill. But everybody thought it was going to be Jameis Winston at that point. Now everybody thinks it's going to be Taysom Hill. I just think I'm going to sit back and enjoy the show and see what happens on Sunday. We're going to talk a lot more about the Saints coming up with Kat Terrell of The Athletic. She covers the Saints there, and we will get more information from her to the extent she has any more, because the Saints are providing absolutely none at this point.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.